friends, I'm Amy and this is A-Star Reads, and it's been 3 years. This is my BookTube-iversary. Today actually is my BookTube-iversary. I have been on BookTube for 3 full years and I'm going into my 4th, which is incredible. It's pretty incredible actually. And today, to celebrate that, I want to go through my mid-year Freakout tag because it's time to do that. We're at the mid-year point. And I also want to do the BookTube-iversary tag because I did this my first year. I don't think I did it my second year. I think I only did the mid-year Freakout tag. So I've got a lot of questions to answer, a lot of books to talk about. But first, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching this, everyone who has subscribed to my channel, everyone who interacts with me and has become part of my BookTube community. This has been an incredible experience, and there's definitely been highs and lows, but I feel like ultimately I'm in my groove and I'm enjoying myself and the ideas keep coming. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm very excited that all of you contribute your time to watch my videos, but then also to comment and to buddy read with me and to be part of the things that I do. And it's so much fun to get to know you. And it's really wonderful to have such an amazing supportive community. It means a lot to me. It's really contributed to the direction my life has gone in, which is very exciting. So thank you. Thank you so much. It really means so much to me. So I want to start out by doing the mid-year Freakout tag because this is an incredible tag that everyone loves to do and it's gotten so much traction, and I can see why. It's a great way to summarize how the year is going so far and like where you hope the year will go after this. So this was originally created by Ellie from Earl Grey Books and Charney, and I will link their channels down below. I also have incorporated the questions that Kayla from Books and Lala has added to it because I really like what she's added to it. I know that a lot of people have added questions of their own, and when I was watching her video, I felt like, okay, this is what I want to answer. So I'm gonna go with the questions that I found on Kayla's channel because they include Ellie's and Charney's, and then of course hers as well. So getting started with the first question, how is your reading year going so far? And to be honest, this is not my strongest reading year. It's really not my strongest reading year. It's been an interesting year so far, and I'm not saying that it's been a bad reading year, just not going quite the way it has gone in previous years. I am currently at 44 books completed, and I've got 2 more that are very, very close. Actually, 3 more that are very close. So hopefully I'll be able to get those done in the next week. Yeah, I will be able to get those done the next week. And I know that that's not maybe the most books I've read up to this point, halfway through the year, because my goal, I actually raised it this year to I think 125. And every year I have way surpassed my 100 books goal. And this year I'm way behind on my goal at the moment. So it's like, interesting. Okay, and that's okay. I don't worry too much about that book goal. If I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. One thing I can say about the books I have read is that 11 of them have been over 200 pages. I'm at 400 pages. 400. Trying to impress you with my over 200 page books. And then of those 11, 2 were over 500 pages and 1 was over 600. And then I'm also currently working on one that's over 500 and one that's over 700. So actually it's 800. So even though I haven't read quite as much, I've read a lot of really long books and they've been wonderful. And I've been enjoying my big books. It just doesn't show with the numbers. You read a lot of pages, but it doesn't necessarily show that you've read a lot of books. And that's okay. I don't really care that much, but it is interesting how reading those longer books does take more time. And it doesn't really contribute to the numbers if you have a goal of a certain number of books to read each year. I've been enjoying reading this year. It's just kind of like this, there's some months where I'm reading really well. Like this month is a great month for me for reading. But June, I didn't complete hardly anything because I was doing other things, including doing other projects, which have made it difficult to actually complete books. So yeah, it's not bad. It's just not my most prolific reading year, which is okay because I still have half a year to go. You're gonna have to bear with me because I'm gonna get really hot. I had to close all the windows and stuff because of the car noise, the traffic noise, but I'm hot this morning. Question number 2, what is the best book that I have read in 2023 so far? I would have to say Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. This was so good. It was so good. And I was surprised how excited I was to get back to this series. I've been loving the series, but these are really big books. So they can be a little intimidating at times. It's an in-depth series. There's so much information in this. So it's not even only the length, but it's also knowing how much you have to think when it comes to these books. Remember all the characters and stuff. But It was so wonderful to come back to these characters from the very first series, the Farseer trilogy, which wasn't my favorite of the Robin Hobb series so far. I mean, I loved it, but I liked the Life Ship Traders more. But coming back to those characters was so wonderful, so nostalgic, so, like, it gave me so many great vibes. Even though there was a lot of sad stuff that happened in this, I loved it so much, and I'm very excited to get to the next one. I have no clue when that's going to happen, but I can't wait to continue on with this series because we're back with one of my favorite characters, the Fool, and Fitz. And Fitz really grew on me this time as well. I liked him well enough in the Farseer trilogy, but he wasn't one of my favorites like he is for a lot of other people. But in this, I was loving Fitz. So yes, definitely Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. Question number 3, what is the best sequel you've read in 2023 so far? And I would have to go with Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan. Now, I didn't actually give this 5 stars like I gave, did I give the first 2 5 stars? I think I gave both the first and the second one 5 stars. And I loved how this completed out the series. It was just so good. The characters in this are incredible. Even the ones you hate are incredible. Such amazing, disgusting, wonderful characters. And I just love this. This is like, to me, modern Jane Austen. Kevin Kwan is like the modern Jane Austen, in my opinion. And I feel like he satirizes this group within the extremely wealthy people of Singapore and China so well. And it is fascinating. It is interesting. It's like, it's luscious, it's delectable, and you just want to keep reading because it's wild. It really is. And so this definitely had to be my favorite sequel for 2023 so far. Question number 4, my favorite reread of 2023. And I don't know if I can pick between these two because I did reread Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller and Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And these are 5 stars. These are books that I have loved in the past and I love them upon reread. This was a buddy read and it was so much fun to talk to this with Kim from Expedition Through Pages. We had such a good time reading this. And even though this is a mystery, I feel like I read it such a long time ago that I didn't really remember all the things that had happened, so it didn't feel like I couldn't enjoy it because I already knew what happened. Also, there's so much gothic element to this that I think I could reread this no matter how many times and still love it because of what the book gives to you, aside from the mystery element. Song of Achilles, to this day, has one of my absolute favorite literary characters of all time. I love Patroclus. I think he is one of the best literary characters for me. The one that has been described by Madeline Miller. Like, not necessarily Patroclus in general, but like the one that's in this book. He is incredible. Rereading this, I was a little worried at first because it is so information heavy at the front. You're really getting a lot more of the mythology, the background of these characters. But that information is actually so important to enjoy it as much as you come to enjoy it as the book progresses. And I love this, and it makes me cry every time. And like I said, one of my absolute favorite literary characters is Patroclus. Question number 5 is a genre you've been loving this year. And I think you'll be able to see a trend with all the books that I am sharing with you that fantasy is what I want to read this year. Adult fantasy specifically. I have been loving adult fantasy, and it's just kind of my jam right now. And so even though I was really enjoying classics in May, I haven't been able to continue on with a lot of the classics that I started because I just got busy. And so unfortunately, that was the mood I was in, and I just didn't have the time to read the classics that I felt like reading. Otherwise, that would have been a good time for classics for me. But overall, first half of this year has been all about the adult fantasy for me. Question number 6, a new release that is out already this year that you want to read but you haven't yet. And that doesn't necessarily mean I will get to these. I just want to put that caveat in there. And of course, the first one is The Fourth Wing. I have FOMO. I really want to read this one, especially because some of the people that I've heard give reviews where they absolutely loved it were people who didn't necessarily read fantasy that much, and they've been loving this one. So yeah, I'm very interested. I'm on the hype train. I'm very curious about this one, and hopefully I'll get a chance to read it at some point. Probably not this year though, let's be honest. Another one that I just recently picked up is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I need to get back on my Ali Hazelwood reads because I still have Love on the Brain that Natalie sent me last year, and now I have Love Theoretically. So I need to get to my romances. I haven't been reading nearly enough romances this year. And finally, The Bandit Queens. I can't remember the author's name, so I'm gonna put it here. I really am kicking myself for not picking up this book when I found it used at the bookstore, I'm kicking myself. This is one that I regret not picking up. And just based off all the reviews, the fact that it was one of the most well-loved books that people were reading for the Women's Prize Award, even though it didn't make it to the shortlist, people loved this one above a lot of the other ones that actually made it to the shortlist. I just think that reading the synopsis, this is going to be a book for me. And so I feel like I need to read this book. So let's hope that I do at some point soon, because this one is bugging me. Question number 7 is the most anticipated release that you are interested in reading that comes out in the second half of 2023. And I know that these are ones that I'm not going to be able to get to right away, maybe one of them, but most of these I won't be able to get to, but I am interested in them. And I really don't pay that a close attention to new releases because, as you know, I don't get to them very often. However, I do like to watch some booktubers talk about new releases, and then I do find ones that I'm interested in. So I'm going to tell you about 4 that I'm interested in, and 2 of them I'm interested in on my own. The first one is Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. This is no surprise. I love this series, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. There's a 5th one coming out. The second one is Bone Shops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. Bookshops and Bone Dust. I'm loved Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, because it was one that I just read this past couple of weeks. So absolutely excited that there's another one coming out. I am hoping that this will give me the same comfort vibes that Legends and Lattes has. And apparently I completely forgot to talk about the other 2 books that I'm interested in reading, the other 2 new releases that are coming out in the second half of 2023. So the first one is called A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faizal. And I know this author is really well known for some other books. However, I've never read anything by them, but this one in particular sounds very intriguing to me. So this is a YA paranormal fantasy, and it's a heist story. You've got our main character, Arthi. I think this is set in the 20s, which I like that time period anyways. She owns a tea shop, which I'm already loving. And apparently at night it turns into an illegal blood house where the vampires of this city are able to come and get blood. And something happens. I think her shop is threatened, and she's going to have to collaborate with someone that she wouldn't have ever expected to have to collaborate with. So this one sounds really fun, and it's hitting a lot of the things that I enjoy. So I'm very interested in that one. And then the final book that I'm really interested in reading that's coming out in 2023 is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I've actually never read from Ashley Winstead at all either, but so many elements of this book just call to me. It's a gothic thriller that is wonderful. I love gothic novels. And the town is this very small, incredibly religious town, basically fire and brimstone, and they have a lot of superstitions and things that scare them, people within this town. So these ideas of these vampires and other killings that are happening that they believe are based off supernatural elements. And I imagine they're not. I imagine they're based off people that are killing. And of course, I think these are the types of books where the town is hiding some kind of secret that we have to uncover. And I really like those types of books, and I like that kind of setting. So this one, of all the thrillers I've been interested in reading lately, this is probably the most intriguing to me. So hopefully I can get this one on my TBR at some point, because I'm very, very interested, maybe in October. Number 8 is my biggest disappointment for the year. And I can't say there's really any book that has been super disappointing. Like, I had such high hopes and it was really not that great for me. I can say though that I guess for this particular question, I have to go with The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, because I really didn't like this. And I expected to like it. And I know so many people love it. I know a lot of people said that they didn't love it so much and commented in the videos where I was reading this and said that it wasn't their favorite. But I do know others that really, really love this and got all the feelings and all the elements of this that I just couldn't get for some reason. So unfortunately, that was very disappointing, because I was hoping I would enjoy it as much as other people have, because it's been very influential in some people's lives, and it didn't do anything for me. So that was really unfortunate. Question number 9 is the biggest surprise so far for 2023. I'm not quite done with this one yet, but I have to give this to House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. And that's where I'm at. Look, see, this is the one that's 800 pages that I'm almost done with. It is a huge surprise for me, because for one, I picked this up because I believed I would love it. I can't remember how long into this book, but for quite a ways in, over 100 pages, I was not liking it. I was afraid I was gonna DNF it. I'm buddy reading this with Di from Deese's 19 Hearts, and we both weren't liking it at the beginning. The writing was not for me. The characters, I just couldn't connect to at all. I didn't like the characters at the beginning. And I'm like, I gotta follow these characters for the whole time. And this book is very likely gonna get a 5 stars for me at this point. So the fact that this book was able to go from something I was very interested in DNFing at the beginning to an incredible read. I'm just in love with these characters now. I'm in love with the action. There have been moments in this where you just get gut punched with emotion. There are moments in this where you're just like, oh, what the heck just happened? It's incredible it's a surprise. It's a surprise only because I could have told you before I picked this up that I would have thought maybe I'd give it 5 stars, but not when I started reading it. Not at all when I started reading it. Question number 10, favorite new author, whether this is a debut author or an author that's new to you. And I'm actually gonna go with Robin Wall Kimmerer because I feel like Robin Wall Kimmerer is a lot more than just an author. Now, I can't say she's just an author. She's an incredible author. Her writing is beautiful, it's poetic, and it just makes you cry with the level of beauty, but also how conscientious, how understanding, how thoughtful she is when she writes. But also she's a westernized botanist who straddles that work with her indigenous ways of knowing. And to me, that's incredible. That bridge between sciences is so important. And the way she's expressing herself, but then also bringing her knowledge into this was beautiful. It was beautifully done. I'm a huge fan of Robin Wall Kimmerer, and I really hope that I get to see her speak at some point. I think that I could learn so much from her. I already have, I've already learned a lot, but I believe that she would be an incredible speaker. Question number 11 is newest favorite character, or I've seen this also interpreted as newest fictional crush. And I kind of have both of these. So I want to first talk about Thimble from Legends and Lattes because I absolutely love his character. He made me so happy. One I didn't talk about before, I love all the characters in this. I really love all the characters. I love Viv, I love Tandri, but I also loved Cal. Cal was a character that we got to know earlier on, and his relationship with Viv was just so much for me. I loved him. I loved all these characters. This found family vibe in this book is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. The characters are amazing. They're characters I want to know in real life. I want to know him in person, and I want to hug Thimble all the time because he is just the cutest. He's the cutest. I also really want to give a shout out to Serapio and Ziala from Black Sun. I know that I said Fool's Errand was my favorite book of the year. This was probably my second favorite book of the year. I knew I was gonna love it. I didn't know I was gonna love it as much as I ended up loving it. And there's so much about this that was so unique and so different in a fantasy, and I just ate it up. I loved it. And Serapio, I would consider a fictional crush, definitely. Definitely a fictional crush. Him and Ziala are the characters in this that, I really like the other characters, don't get me wrong, but those are the characters that really made this story amazing for me. And so I cannot wait to get onto the second book. I need to get back with these characters. I need to see what's gonna happen next. Hopefully I can do that sooner rather than later, because even picking this up and looking at it, I'm like, oh, I want to be back with these characters. And that's what makes for incredible characters to me. If I want to spend more time with them, I know that they've become my newest favorite characters. Question number 12 is a book that made you cry. And my biggest cry from a book, because I've cried a lot recently with books, and a lot of these books have given me the tears. But surprisingly, my absolute hardest cry was House of Earth and Blood. I wouldn't have ever expected that. But Sarah J. Maas somehow knows how to poke you in the heart really hard when she needs to. And I was sobbing. I had a hard time just keeping it together. There was a part in this that was just so sad. I haven't finished it yet, so I may be crying even more. But somehow she knows how to elicit the emotions really well. Question number 13 is a book that made you happy. And based on the way I felt the whole time I was reading this book, it would definitely have to be Fool's Errand. Like I said, it's not the happiest of stories, the happiest of situations, but I was enjoying this so much. I was giddy the whole time I was reading this book. Now, if I'm giddy, that means I'm loving it and I'm very happy. Question number 14, what is the book that is the most beautiful purchase or gift that you got this year? And I'm excited to be able to show you this chunker. The Prior of the Orange Tree. I've always thought this was a gorgeous, gorgeous book. And I'm so excited that I own it. And I can't wait to read it at some point. I'm sure it's going to be hard to read because it's such a big book. Because House of Earth and Blood has definitely been a harder book to read since it's so large. And this was a gift. This was a gift from Christine, from an autistic reader. It is the most beautiful gift that I got this year. I got a lot of great, amazing, beautiful gifts. This one takes it. It's just stunning. And I'm so excited to have this book. Question number 15 is, what books do you need to read by the end of this year? And there's quite a few books that I need to continue on. Of course, the books I'm reading for BookStara, the Bone Season series, and we're starting The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. I know there's another name for that series and I can't remember what it is, but we're starting that series. So I need to read those. I do have some more buddy reads, and I do have the books I need to read for the book Love is Blind challenge that I'm doing. But aside from that, nothing specific, except for I would really like to finish my 5-star prediction books, because I did that video over a year ago, my 5-star predictions, and guess how many I still have left. So I haven't made any progress on Anna Karenina since I started that, and I really need to get back to that. I might have to actually restart that, which would make it very difficult. So that one, I don't know if it's actually going to get done this year. But I need to read The City We Became, Skyward, and The Guest List, because these are all books that I believed would be 5-star predictions. I'll never be able to recap how I did for that video if I never actually read all the books that are supposed to be 5 stars. So fingers crossed that I can do that, and then I can say yes or no, these actually were not 5-star reads. Question number 16 is favorite video or post that you've done so far in 2023. And I've got to say, my book Love is Blind series, if you haven't watched it yet, this has been so fun, so exciting, and I can't wait to find out who my #1 true love is going to be. Question number 17, the final question on this particular list of questions that I got from Kayla, is, who are your favorite booktubers right now? And, you know, I talk about a lot of booktubers on my channel. I talk about my booktuber friends. I talk about people who I'm getting to know, who have supported my channel, whose channel I would like to support as well. And there are so many booktubers. But I want to talk about the booktubers who I don't necessarily talk about on my channel very often, and whose content I've really been enjoying lately. I'm going to link all these booktubers down below, and maybe you'll find somebody new that you haven't ever heard of before. So the first one is Becca from Becca Books and Bujo. I have loved Becca for a while, but I've really been loving her vlogs lately. She's been doing such an amazing job. Her vlogs are so fun to watch, and I've been in a vlog mood, so I've been watching her channel quite a bit. The second is Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse. I think a lot of people already know about her TBR Star Hop TBR game, but if you don't, this is one of my absolute favorite TBR games. I mean, I love a lot of them. I love everybody's TBR game, but TBR Star Hop is one of my favorites. And I love not only watching her game every month, but I love watching the vlogs where she does these 48-hour readathons every month for her game. And it is just something that I get really excited about every time it comes around. The third booktuber I want to talk about is Kirsten from The Reading Nymph, and she has incredible vlogs. I really love her vlogs. They're in the style that I like watching, and she's got a great aesthetic. So every time she has a vlog up, I get excited because it's just going to give me a great vibe. I feel like her vibes match with relaxation for me. And so if you haven't checked out her channel, she's also got a great TBR game. I highly recommend if you're looking for something that has a great aesthetic to the vlogs. And booktuber number 4 is Asha from Reading with Toby. And I just love her personality, her vlogs. She's so upbeat. She makes me very happy to watch. She is incredibly busy, so content-wise, sometimes we have to wait a little bit before we get the next vlog. But when we get them, they're so fun to watch, and I look forward to them. So I highly recommend checking out all these booktubers. There are so many booktubers out there that are incredible that I didn't talk about in this video, but I did want to talk about a few that I don't talk about very often on my channel, but I do spend quite a bit of time watching. So that's it for the mid-year freakout tag. Now let's talk about the BookTube anniversary tag. I forgot to mention that this tag was originally created by Average Joe Reads, and I will link everything you need to know for this channel and the original video down in the description box below. The first question is, how many years have you been on BookTube? And I have just completed my 3rd year. This is my 3rd anniversary, and I'm going into my 4th. Very, very exciting. The second question is, what has kept you motivated to keep making movies? And I think this is a very important question when it comes to BookTube, because there are a lot of booktubers out there, and it can feel like you're this little teeny tiny fish in this giant ocean, and sometimes YouTube doesn't pay much attention to you, like the actual algorithm and stuff like that. And so you have to figure out ways why this is important to you, why creating videos on YouTube is so important to you. And for me, it's the creativity. It's something that I'm enjoying doing. I love reading books and sharing my thoughts on books, but I also love creating content. I love making the videos. I actually really enjoy editing. Not all the time. There's times that I get sick of editing, but I enjoy editing, and I enjoy coming up with new, unique, fun ideas, which I feel like I've done a lot this particular summer. Another thing that really keeps me motivated is my interactions with this community, with the people that I've gotten to know on BookTube, with my BookTube friends, and getting that opportunity to talk to you all about books and have that conversation go back and forth is really what I'm here for. And that's what has been so amazing about this, is not only sharing what I'm able to read and my thoughts on what I read, but then hearing what you think about the books that you've read, that I've read. It's been so much fun, and I feel like this community is an incredible one. Question number 3, my 3 favorite videos that I created in this past year. So not just since 2023, but since my last anniversary. And I'm not going to talk about the Book Love is Blind series because I already talked about that before. But the first one I want to talk about is my Try a Chapter in a Coffee series, because I've only done 2 so far for that. I'd like to do more. I should have done another one by now. When I have done that, it has been a blast. And it's a great way to go through some of the older books that are on my shelves and decide whether or not I'm really going to read them. Because I do have very limited space on my shelves, and I want the books that I really do want to read on those shelves. And so if there's some books that I've had for a very long time that I really don't think I'm going to get to, or I'm just not that interested in, there's no point in keeping them. Plus, then I get to share one of the local coffee shops with you. We get to go read a few chapters together, and I get to unhaul them at that time. It's just a fun series. I've had a lot of fun with that one, and it seems like a lot of you have had fun with it as well. So I'm going to link that up here, so if you'd like to check it out. Another video that I was very happy to have completed this year, finally, and I really enjoyed editing it, was my Bay Area book crawl video. And that was one that I actually started 2 years ago. 2 years ago that I filmed the original content, and then it took me that long to actually read the books. But it was so fun editing it because, I mean, it was difficult because it was a different time, and I definitely had not enough content in certain places, maybe too much at other times. So trying to figure out the best way to edit it with the way I like to edit now was very interesting. But it was also fun to just travel in the past and kind of get a chance to revisit that time 2 years ago when I originally filmed the content for this one. But it turned out to be such a fun video that I'm gonna link it up here. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I will definitely be doing more book crawls. I will definitely be doing more book crawls. So stay tuned for those. That is going to be a series that will continue going. And then the third one is my 45 before 45 video. I've been wanting to do one of these types of videos for a long time, and I finally got together a list that I'm very excited about. So go check it out and let me know what you think of some of these books, because some of these books are books that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, and I just need the motivation to get there. So I hope that putting it on this list will make it so it happens. Question number 4 is talk about a struggle or these struggles that you have had on BookTube and how you overcame those. And for me, at least in this last year, it's been consistency and feeling burnt out, because I have been really busy with school stuff. I know that I've been busy with school stuff for a while now, but I feel like this last year was such a brain shift because I've actually been in the classroom and I've been working with students, and I've had to use my brain so much that spending time, making the time for BookTube was really hard. So there have been a few months where I didn't have a lot of videos going out. I didn't read a lot of books. And to overcome it, I gave myself that grace. I wasn't going to do something that would push me to the point where I was resenting BookTube or resenting the time that I should have been spending with school stuff or resting from using my brain so much to try and force myself to do more reading or more video creation. And I feel like that helped me a lot this last year, because there have been times in the last year especially that I'm like, how long am I really going to do this BookTube thing? And that sounds terrible, but when you get busy, when you want to start doing things other than read and create content, because this is like a full-time job, it really is. There's a lot of hours that go into BookTube, not only reading, but video creation, video editing. There's a lot that goes into it that sometimes, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks this, you think to yourself, how long am I going to be able to do this for? What really helps with that is taking a step back and understanding when you need a break so that you can come back with better content. And I feel like that really did happen with me towards the fall of last year and then towards the end of spring this year, because this summer I feel like my content is so much more unique and creative and fun, and I have the time to do it, but I didn't force myself to do too much in May and June, and that really helped out. Question number 5 is talk about one moment that you would like to relive from the past year. And to be honest, I have many amazing moments from this past year. I can't think of one in particular that I would like to relive at the moment. I can say that my friend Danielle from BookStara is coming here to visit me next weekend because it's her 40th birthday. We both turned 40 in the same year and we wanted to celebrate together. We wanted to celebrate this big milestone of age, turning 40. And she's actually coming here and she'll be the second booktuber that I've ever met. And I'm so excited that we're gonna spend time together. We're gonna have so much fun. I can't wait to meet her. I can't wait to spend time with this person that I've spent so much time chatting with, talking with, and sharing experiences online. I'll get a chance to create experiences in person. It's pretty exciting. I'm sure that'll be the moment. And I'm gonna count it, even though it's kind of in next year, but I'm gonna count it anyways. Question number 6, shout out to a huge supporter of your channel. And I think for this one, I'm gonna go with Jean. Jean is one of my subscribers who's been with my channel for a very long time. And Jean is also now a really good friend because we have buddy read together. She's always sharing her thoughts and opinions on books. And I have to say, Jean is an incredible supporter of my channel. So thank you so much, Jean. I really appreciate you. And you have absolutely made my 3rd year on BookTube an incredible one. Question number 7, the best book I've read in the past year. And I didn't want to go with the books that I already chose for the mid-year Freakout. And of course, thinking back to the past full year that I've been on BookTube, I would have to go with the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman because it has been incredible. I knew I wanted to read it. I was very excited about it, but I didn't know how much I would love it until I actually read it. And then you not only get this amazing graphic novel series, you also get an amazing television show too. So, huge fan of Heartstopper. Absolutely love it. It makes my heart very happy, and I cannot wait for book number 5. Question number 8 is the one where I'm supposed to get really deep and say, where do I see my channel going in a year? And honestly, I don't have any expectations. And that sounds so boring. It really does sound boring. But at the moment, I have no expectations. I think I'm at a point where I just want to continue making exciting content. I want to continue creating close relationships with people within my community. I want to continue talking to you about books, and I want to be as consistent as possible. And so that's my goal, is to keep coming up with amazing ideas so that I can share them with you. And I feel like recently I've been doing that and I've been loving it. And even if all these series I've been doing lately are not everybody else's favorite, they're exactly what I want to be doing. And so that's very important for my own continuation of this channel because I need to love what I'm doing in order to make the content. And I am having a blast. So I hope to continue having a blast. That's what I hope for my channel. Question number 9 and the final question is to tag somebody whose BookTube anniversary is coming up. And I did not do any research on this. So I'm tagging you, the booktuber whose anniversary is coming up soon, and let us all know how you're going on your YouTube adventure. And tag me in that video so I can see all your responses to the questions. Let me know in the comment section down below anything you want to share with me. Let me know if you've read these books and what you thought about them. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens in the next year. In the next year of content from Amy from A Star Reads. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.